Alright, today our lesson is 7.3. We are subtracting equations. We're going to use the symbol method just like we did on Friday, where we're basically undoing operations. So on today's lesson, because it's subtracting equations, we'll be undoing our subtraction with addition. So it should look very similar to what we did on Friday. Let's start on page 536 at the bottom with problem A. X minus 7 equals 4. Again, I know on a lot of these, you could probably do them mentally. Just think about what number minus 7 would give you 4. But let's go ahead and work through each of them so that you can see the correct process in case the numbers are bigger or the equations are longer. So remember, we want to get x by itself in order to correctly solve the equation. So we need to get rid of the minus 7. So what is the opposite of subtraction, J?
Addition.
So in order to get rid of the minus 7, we will add 7. And what we do to one side of the equation, we must
Do the other.
Thank you. Alright, so it'll cancel out the minus 7 for us. It leaves x by itself, and then 4 plus 7 will give us 11. Alright, now the check comes in by plugging the 11 in. So if we said 11 minus 7, will we get an answer of 4? And if we do, then that means our answer checks and we know we've done it correctly. The checking is a very important part of these equation problems. Please do not get in a rush and forget to go back and check all of your solutions. On this week's test, everyone should have a 100 because you'll know that you have the right answer when you go back in and plug in your variable. Alright, try B on your own. Okay, what is step 1 on problem B? Paige?
Step 1 is getting y by itself.
Okay, we need to realize we need y by itself. And what will we do to get y all by itself? Seth?
First, we need to do the opposite. Plus 6 and plus 6.
Because what we do to one side of the equation, we must do that same thing to the other side.
And then cross out that and add those. And then it'll equal 14.
Okay, so now we have y equals 14, but we will double check our answer. And it checks. So we're good. Alright, what about problem C? 9 equals a minus 5. What do we need to be, or to get all by itself? Nam? What needs to be all by itself in problem C? We need A. And so what shall we do to get A by itself? Kendall? Yeah, we're going to do the opposite of this subtraction would be add 5. And what we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other. That will get A by itself. And then 9 plus 5 14. So then we will check. And it does check. All right, questions, Jay?
Instead of doing 9 equals 14 minus 5, could you do 14 minus 5 equals 9?
You could, but they're showing you that no matter which side of the equation it's on, you can still move things from one side to the other as long as you do the same to each side. Okay, so now let's look at 537. Example 2 gives us the word problem. So as we read the word problem, we need to start figuring out what the equation will be. So it says George's height is 4 inches less than Sienna's height. Georgia is 58 inches tall. Let's write and solve a subtraction equation to find Sienna's height. In your groups, why don't you go ahead and tell your group members what you think the equation will be. You can type your notes into a Google Doc if you want. Alright, let's hear what you have to say. Sarah, what does your group think?
62.
Well, but what do you think the equation would be? Y'all are jumping to the answer because these are simple numbers and you guys can just work the math in your head. The hard part is coming up with what the equation is, and if we're on ACT Aspire and part of our grade is writing down that equation, we need to be prepared with actually writing down the equation. If you get to that point and you know what you want the answer to be, you can always work your way backwards and formulate the equation after you find the answer if you have to. Jay?
Subtract 58 and 4, but the opposite of...
If I subtract 58 and 4, I'm not going to get 62.
But the opposite of subtraction is addition.
So you're saying add 4 to 58? Okay, which does give you 62, but remember, we need to write a subtraction equation, not an addition equation.
Okay.
Okay, let's think about it. Who's taller? Georgia or Sienna? Okay, Sienna's taller because it says Georgia's 4 inches less. What is the unknown information here? What is it we don't know? I know it's going to be the variable, but what don't we know? Sienna's height. Okay, so we know that Sienna's taller, but we don't know what her height is. But we do know Georgia's height. And we do know that that height is 4 inches less than what Sienna is. Paige, what are you thinking?
$62 equals G for Georgia minus 4.
Okay, but they didn't give us the 62. That's because y'all already know that that's the answer. They didn't give us this. We have to create an equation out of what we know. We know Georgia's height, which is 58. Let's write down what we know. And we know it's 58. All right. We also know, I'm going to write G for Georgia's. And this is going to be important. That 4 less, that's important. We also know that Sienna is taller. Seth?
I'm thinking you would do 58. 58 minus 4 minus the S.
You're working your way closer. Come on now. Work in your groups for another minute. Let's see if we can work this out. Tell your group what you think.
We can have x minus 4 equals 58.
Okay. Nadia, what do you think?
S minus 4 equals 58.
Sienna's height minus 4 because her height is 4 less than George's total height of 58. And then when you solve for that, we added the 4 to both sides, which is what you guys wanted to do earlier to find out that Sienna's height is a total of 62 inches. So you guys were working the problem correctly and finding the right answer. But in this particular word problem, they asked us to create a subtraction equation. So this is our subtraction equation, the S minus 4 equals 58. Bless you. All right, we good? Any questions?